Hi, so today we will be drawing the checkpoints of a cell cycle. So the cell cycle comes in not many parts, but parts, and those parts are very important to the cell cycle. So our first section will be G1. In this section of G1, growth will be happening. Then you have S, which stands for synthesis. But in this section, DNA replication will be happening. Our third section is G2. And just like G1, growth is going to be happening. So back to the G1. So in G1, this is where everything is going to start coming towards the cell, like DNA. So in G1, the checkpoints that are being checked for is growth and DNA damage. So the DNA damage is kind of something like really bad that can happen to the DNA while it's trying to get through the cycle. So here, like I said, the growth is happening, DNA's damage, search is being made, and once it gets to like this place right here, before it gets to the synthesis part, it is going to check for that, because if that somehow gets through, it is going to cause something bad to happen throughout the rest of the cycle. So in the synthesis part, nothing really happens here. So in this part, they also call it G0 because nothing really happens here. It's just the DNA replication and stuff is being replicated. So if you think about it, if you replicate the bad damaged DNA, then that's going to constantly create bad damage for the rest of the cell cycle. And that's not very good for a person. And we're going to talk about what's going to happen if it does eventually get through the rest of the cycle. So, G2, like I said before, growth is happening in this cell. But what this cell is checking for is also growth and DNA replication. So it's very good that they check for that DNA replication, because if that bad DNA gets through, it's going to cause a whole bunch of bad to continue to go through the rest of the cell. For example, things like cancer can form and cause really bad uncontrolled cell damage to continue to grow and become bad for the cell. And it can cause cancer for the person that it's in, or something can happen to the sex cells, and it can cause the cells in your child to develop things like Down syndrome and stuff like that. So our last part will be the cytokinesis. And mitosis. You may not know this, but the mitosis part of a cell cycle also has checkpoints. At this checkpoint, they will be looking for spindle fiber attachments. At this time, this is when spindle fibers will start to grab onto the chromosomes and break them apart and help the cell cycle continue to make more cells for the body. And that somehow goes into PMAT, which we'll be talking about later on in the next video. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.